Do you live your life a quarter mile at a time? Do you race for pink slips or respect? Do you hate it when people granny shift instead of double clutching like they should? Can you think of any other cheesy Fast and Furious quotes to add here? If you can, then you're probably going to be interested in this. This is the 2015 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Shaker. Let's check it out. This car was featured in the most recent Fast and Furious movie, Furious 7, and it's easy to see why. I mean, beyond the fact that Dodge and Universal have a deal together. Just look at it. It's the definition of movie star good looks. So move over, Bo Derek, because there's a new 10 in town. Yes, that was a 30-year-old movie reference, but it's a retro car, so it works. The Scat Pack Shaker has a 6.4-liter V8 SRT HEMI engine that produces 485 horsepower. And you can see some of the things that the Scat Pack has that a regular Challenger won't have, like the Shaker hood and the Shaker intake. Couple that with stuff like a massive air filter, and you can tell this thing was all about performance. The Challenger is always mentioned in the same breath as the Ford Mustang and the Chevy Camaro. And while the Camaro and the Mustang have gone a little bit more contemporary with their newest offerings, the Dodge Challenger has remained very, very retro in the looks department. And for my money, it's far and away the best looking of the three. It's obvious that this is a big, powerful car, but what isn't so obvious is that the Challenger, again, even more so than the Mustang or the Camaro, can function as your everyday driver. The trunk is bigger than what someone would probably expect for a car like this. But I'm not sure why. I mean, have you seen how big this car is? Locking and unlocking the doors are easy. To lock the doors with the key in your pocket, just push this black button on top of the handle, and then to unlock them, put your hand under, wait for it to go up, and then open the door. Another thing that adds to the possibility that this car could be your everyday driver is the fact that it can actually comfortably seat 4 adults. I mean, right now the seat is in my driving position and I have more than enough legroom. I've got good headroom, so it's actually pretty spacious in here for being a 485 horsepower muscle car. I mentioned how with the exterior styling, Dodge really kept that retro look. On the interior for the Challenger as well, it was kind of just barren and not too nice to look at. This has definitely been updated and is much more pleasant to be in. This touchscreen is the same touchscreen that's used in all of the Chrysler cars. It's a step above the Ford MyTouch and it's pretty responsive. Usually when there's not as much clutter, it's a little bit nicer, especially if you're going to be using it while you're driving, but you can go through your media, the climate controls, navigation, all that sort of stuff. It's pretty standard, but it's nice, especially in a car like this. You can get this car in automatic, but what we have here is the 6-speed manual. The shifter is pretty nice. It's got a nice feel to it. You can see behind the shifter here, you have sport mode and you've got the Super Track Pack. If you hit the sport button and enter the sport mode, shift times are slashed by 40% and they're also going to be moved to higher engine speeds. The Scat Pack Shaker also comes with the active exhaust system. What this system does is it gives the exhaust a more throaty note to it. As you would expect, gas mileage is not the greatest with this car. It gets 14 city, 23 highway for a combined of 17. But you notice that it's definitely not a small little European sports car. It is a big American muscle car, and it's not gonna have the best turning radius. It's not gonna be a car that you're gonna wanna drive in city traffic too much. Again, when you buy a car like this, you know you're gonna be making some sacrifices in some of the more practical categories. The 2015 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Shaker is a big, powerful beast of a car. But in the words of Dominic Toretto, it ain't about just being fast. It's also surprisingly spacious, refined, and packed with enough technology to make it doable as a daily driver.
Hey dude, what's up?
Hey Dennis. I was just calling to see how your weekend went.
You know, drove around the block. Did some grocery shopping. Really kept it down.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like a pretty boring weekend. Why didn't you do anything a little bit more fun?